Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. It's that time of the week once again for the weekly challenges to refresh. Now we are coming towards the final one of the year. This time around it's a bit longer than usual. We've had a fair few pretty short weeks, but it's definitely a lot longer this time around, but also a lot more rewarding in terms of the credit payouts, and that's what we're going to be getting this week for all of the completion challenges. So as you know from event 1, 3 and 5, you're going to be getting tickets or rewards for completing those certain amount of events. So as you can see, for one event it's a typical 100k. For 3 events it's 200k, and for completing all 5 it's going to be 1 million credits. So a lot more rewarding than the typical 500k we've been getting. It's pretty much double that. Now in terms of the events, I'd say the first 3 are very short. So we have the Sunday Cup Classic, which is going to take place at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. That is going to be a 2-lap event. Then we have another new special event. I believe this is like the 3rd or 4th week in a row that we've had one of these. This time it's actually for the Tesla Model 3, which did make it on my worst car list of 2023 for post-launch content. That's going to be a 2-lap sprint around Tokyo Expressway Central clockwise. Then we head over to the Japanese 4-wheel drive challenge 600, aimed at 600 pp Japanese 4-wheel drive cars. Again, there is no set limit on that, by the way, so you can really abuse that. That is going to be 2 laps around Kyoto Driving Park Yamajiwa. And then we go over to a couple of longer events. So we have the Neo Classic competition at the Red Bull Ring. Now that is weather and fuel dependent as well, so it is very much randomized. You can get weather during that. I actually didn't, but it can happen. That's a 10-lap race. It takes around about 15 minutes, depending if you get the rain or not. On a clean run, you're looking at 14 to 15 minutes, I'd say. And then we have the WTC 800 for the 1-hour Spa 24-hour layout event, which kind of takes quite a while to do. Very much time orientated. You can't beat it faster than that 1-hour time limit, so it's all about trying to get as close to that limit as you can. So you are going to be getting at least 1.5 million just from that event alone. So whilst the events are longer, the rewards are almost certainly more worth it, around about 3 million credits for these. So let's have a look at the overview for event number 1. This is the Sunday Cup Classic, a 2-lap sprint around Brands Hatch Indy, obviously aimed at a beginner sort of classic car show really. There's nothing much to this one. It's very fast, very easy to get done. You shouldn't have any problems here. Again, I'm trying to use cars that I don't necessarily use, which will kind of change a little bit later on through this sort of, I guess, playthrough of these 5 events. So I went with the Lamborghini Moira. To be honest, it's a bit of a difficult and rough car to use, so I've not got any upgrades on this. It just kind of is how it is out of the showroom. I really can't say that I necessarily like this car when it doesn't have the upgrades on, but again, in sort of the interest of keeping it with sort of the classic car vibe, I just wanted to use something a little bit older, but also kind of a bit more down to earth without any ridiculous aero added on or ridiculous power put through it. And as you can see, it was such a simple and easy event. So by the time we're coming around to the end of lap 1, even though the Alpha was pretty much out in front, we did manage to get past that no problem and do that final lap of the 2 to get our first event completion of the week, our first tick of the week, and that's going to reward us with the 100k credit ticket. Now for the clean race bonus, full payout for this event, 7.5k, so relatively nothing in comparison, but you are getting paid 100k on top of that. So not too bad for an event that takes around about 2 minutes to complete. So that one is done and out the way. We're going to head over to the special event for this week. Seems like these are being, I guess, put into the game a lot more than they were when this sort of first came around. There was a big gap where there was no special event, and now we've had a ton of them in a row. Obviously we've had the Civics, the Porsches, and now the Tesla Model 3. So this event really is quite uninteresting, to be honest. Like I said, the Tesla Model 3 for me just isn't that good. I've got one fully upgraded here on Racing Softs. It's the one that I used for the review, and it's the one that I did keep after my reviews were done. I did sell the standard version. Now the AI that you're racing against, they are just in the absolute standard version, they will have the same top speed as you. You actually can't necessarily upgrade the top speed even when you're going for full performance with the Tesla, but you can make the handling even better than it actually is with that four-wheel drive system. Now, in terms of getting a clean race bonus here, the payout isn't too much, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But if you are aiming for that extra 50%, just kind of take your time as you're working your way through the grid. It is quite a tight enclosed track, obviously taking place at Tokyo, and I would say this is definitely one of the sort of tighter layouts where, you know, you can end up running into the AI. They're not the cleverest. They kind of sit in parts of the track where you wouldn't necessarily expect them to, and then you kind of have to sit behind them, plan your overtake. But to be honest, it's a very, very short event once again, and as you can see, that is going to give us tick number 2 for the week. So not a bad special event, just not anything absolutely amazing. Obviously focusing on the Tesla Model 3, which is a bit of an oddball choice. You're going to be taking away 40,500 credits with that clean race bonus, and you're going to be getting this one done in around about 4 to 5 minutes tops. So there we go, that is the final special event of the year of 2023. Moving on to event number 3, this is again another very short event. It's only 2 laps in length at Kyoto Driving Park Yamagiwa. In terms of the sort of aimed PP target, it is going to be 600 PP four-wheel drive vehicles, but I believe it isn't set in stone. I think the car that I used here is the standard Nissan GTR Concept VGT, obviously four-wheel drive, and I believe it does come in at over 600 pp. It made the event very, very easy. Now, all of these events that I'm doing are on the hardest difficulty, but as you can see, we just had no problem at all. We're just kind of, you know, abusing that limit there, and you can really, really abuse it if you want to and go even faster. So with this being another relatively short event, you're not kind of worrying about tyre wear or fuel use or anything like that. It's pretty much non-existent. Now, the reason I do like this GTR is it does actually have an overtake button, which made the final lap, once I've kind of got past all the AI, just much quicker than usual. As you can see here, the AI just basically at a standstill in comparison. While they are pretty quick, they're nothing absolutely special. In terms of the AI, they do group up a lot more than they do in some events, so even the lead pack won't absolutely massively break away in comparison to sort of the rest of the grid, which quite often does happen in these events that we get given, and you should be able to get this one done nice and easy. Now, that is going to give us our 3rd tick of the week. Now, the best thing about this is that we're also getting another credit reward on top, so we're going to take away 30,000 credits just for this event with the clean race bonus. Obviously 50% added on top, but we're also going to get rewarded with that 200,000 credit ticket, which gives us reward number 2 out of 3. So that one's done and dusted. Let's get into the longer events for the week. So we have Neo Classic Competition here. Again, 10-lap event aimed at sort of, you know, the race cars in the game that I made before. I think 1999 is the sort of cutoff point. So you're going to see a lot of kind of legendary classic race cars. Now, I went for the Mazda 787B. You're also going to see this in the final event as well. The main reason, this car is just essentially a cheat code for fuel efficiency, tyre life, and just overall performance. So I've got one built to 800 pp. I believe I did use it for a money guide absolute time ago at this point, when the sort of Group C machinery became the sort of meta for quite a long time. So yeah, definitely just kind of make use of the fuel efficiency of this car and the tyre life. I'm running a set of racing mediums. These are going to be good all the way to the end. As long as I don't have to cover off any rain, I won't actually need to bother stopping, which is the main reason I'm using this car. So I kind of played around between fuel mix 4 and 6. I did use 1 for a few of the overtakes on the straight, just to make sure that I can get them done nice and cleanly, because I do want the clean race bonus. Obviously, it does give you, you know, an extra 50% on top of the base price or base reward of the event. So as you can see here, we're going to try and go around the outside of the Nissan, just get that done as the Nissan slips out, and then we're going to try and get the Suzuki Escudo down the main straight. Again, one of the weakest cars on fuel consumption, so that is definitely going to have to pit. But as you can see, we've got the XJR9, which is way up the road, and to be honest, driving much faster than the rest of the vehicles. However, it will have to pit. So I saved enough fuel that I could basically go flat out all the way to the end around about lap 8. So I just turned it up to fuel mix 1, and then eventually the XJR9 did pit at the end of lap 9 going on to 10. So at this point, we're going to inherit the lead and then just finish the event off nice and easy. Just keep an eye out for the weather. Again, there is a chance that it could rain, but I did get a nice clean run there for our 4th tick of the week. And overall, in terms of the payout with a clean race bonus, not too bad for around around about 15 minutes of your time, it's 231,000 credits. And that is also going to give us our daily marathon reward. So let's move into the final event of the year for the weekly challenges. And this is going to be the longest event in the game. So this is a Spa 24-hour layout of the WTC 800. Now, again, it's pretty much sort of set in stone with how the weather will work here. It's full 24-hour day-night cycle as well, so it's going to cycle around. So you just kind of need to be on your guard and taking it nice and clean. I think the only way that you lose the clean race bonus here, if I do remember, unless it's been changed in the last, few months maybe, is that you just need to watch out for the yellow flags. There is a time where, essentially a yellow flag can come out under the rainy conditions when a car slides off. It might get caught in the middle of the track. If that does appear, just kind of hold back. Try not to get the 3-second penalty, or else that clean race bonus is lost. If you do get the clean race bonus, you're going to be getting a massive payout for this event alone. So once again, we're using the 787B, and we're just all about the, sort of fuel consumption and tyre life once again. We also have the massive performance advantage over, the rest of the vehicles. They're mainly sort of Group 3 vehicles. Obviously, we're in, a classic Group 1 or Group C vehicle, as it really should be known. I'm just going to put it in fuel mix 6, and this will pretty much leave me golden for the rest of the race. Once again, starting on the racing mediums, these will go plenty into the race until you, ultimately get the rain. I believe it's pretty much set in stone that you will get it around about 20 minutes. So 15 to 20 minute mark is when you're going to start getting it. It's pretty much always going to be night time by the time that happens. Now, I took the lead naturally on lap 2. Again, the AI are on their hardest difficulty, but they're quite easy just to be able to sort of stomp past. At that point, it's all about just, cracking on with it. You've got a timer. You can't really go any faster. So just take your time and just be careful and just keep your eye out for any yellow flags. So around about 20 minutes in, this is when the rain really started to come down. I'm watching the weather radar, and I can see that we've got sort of the yellow patches on the radar, which is really, really heavy rain. So at this point, I'm going to pit in around about the 20-minute mark, and I'm going to do my first of 2 pit stops of the race. So what I'm going to do is actually go on the full wet. I always find that for me, that first initial downpour that seems to go on for absolutely ever will absolutely soak the track into sort of full wet conditions instead of intermediate. So I've used the racing mediums. As you can see, they've got a bit of tyre life off them, and now it's time to go onto the full wet. So I'm just going to speed this up. So we're going to take full fuel as well, so just ensure that you're covering that off. You're on a set of either inters or wets. I would recommend the wets. Pretty much every time I will take those wets. And then we're just going to come out of the pit lane and just start cruising around in fuel mix 6. The main reason for this is to just reduce obviously the tyres spinning up and stuff in the wet, and causing you to slide into the barriers and kind of all that stuff. So at this point, just take your time. You should already be basically a lap up on the rest of the AI. A lot of them will kind of get caught out in the middle of the track and just be kind of pottering about very, very slowly. Now, the rain did kind of go away around about a few laps later, and it didn't fully dry up. As you can see, we're still in inters conditions, but the wets are starting to wear. But we did get another downpour with around about 15 minutes to go. Again, this one seems to rotate between anywhere from 20 minutes remaining to around about 10 minutes remaining. As you can see, I got it pretty much bang on at the halfway point. So I just went around on the wets because it did re-wet the track, but the wets have just got absolutely no life in them. And I'm just going to take another pit stop just to sort of kill off a bit of extra time. So whilst the track did have a dry line, it doesn't really matter what compound I go on it. I'm only going to do one more lap, or sort of one more go around. So I'm not going to bother with fuel. I went with the inters just to be safe, just in case it wasn't too dry on certain sections of the track and I came off the line. And then I've got obviously a chance of, sort of piling myself into a wall and just, losing a ton of performance and such. So I am just obviously going to go for a set of intermediates just to be on the safe side, kill off a bit of extra time in the pit stops. I'm already about 2 to 3 laps ahead of the AI, so they're not really a worry at this point in the race. So again, it's all about just really taking my time at this point. Now, I still had around about 2.5 minutes to go when I came out the pits, so all I'm going to do here is just basically cruise about around about 60 miles an hour. As soon as the time is going down, as you can see, I'm just going to let it count down and then absolutely floor it across the line to get this event done as close to that 1 hour sort of cut-off point as possible, saving myself another 2.5 minutes from having to do an extra lap on top. And that is going to give us our 5th and final tick of the week. Now, in terms of the payout with the clean race bonus, as I said, just be aware of the yellow flags. If you do get it though, you're going to get 1.5 million just for doing that event, and also on top of that, The final reward, if this is the one that you're doing for that, is going to be a 1,000,000 credit ticket, completing all the rewards for the week. So we're going to add 100k to the rewards, then we're going to add 200k to our credits as well, and then finally we're going to head over and add the 1,000,000 credit ticket reward to finish off the weekly challenges for this year, giving us around about over 3 million just for completing those events. So really not too bad at all. So that is it. That is the final weekly challenges for 2023. Be sure to join me next Thursday for the first weekly challenges of 2024. Let me know how you're getting on this week with these events. I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.